up for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
Don't let that team stand in the way. He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
Oh, Brad Rucker for the touchdown. Kraft shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
Off and rolling here on a Wednesday. I'm Brandon Beam hanging out tonight with our guy, A-Ward Sports, Austin Ward, and of course, Nate Dogg behind the glass. Austin, happy Wednesday to you, my friend. What's happening?
A beautiful hump day in Central Ohio. My goodness.
I was so productive today. It's crazy. It's one of the more productive days I've had of this year.
How?
I got up this morning. I went and got the car's oil changed.
Okay.
I came back.
Strong start.
A lot of yard work, which included trimming the hedges, which just is a once a year kind of thing, but they were getting a little gangly, and I said, something needs to be done about that. Emptied Willie's water table, refilled it back, got him ready to rock. He was just piling it down again. So I feel like I was pretty productive. That was all before like 9:30 in the morning.
That's elite.
And then I just didn't do anything.
Well, if you get that much done before 9, what's the point?
Yeah, I know. What about
the
you?
feet up a little bit.
Your Wednesday been good?
Fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah, just get out. Get up. Liberty is in this point right now, Beamer, where she wants like 3 breakfasts.
She's a hobbit.
I don't know what's going on. I mean, it seems like a growth spurt all summer long. So it's, Dad, bowl of Lucky Charms now. Got it.
Okay.
Dad, oatmeal.
Herd chef.
Now. Got it. Okay. Both of those are gone. It's 10:15. Can I have mac and cheese?
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Who cares?
Because
the food to time realm is just such a weird thing to me. Eat anything you want at any time of the day if it makes you happy. You want chicken curry at 9 o'clock in the morning? Go for it.
No, I don't disagree with you on that front. And I have always told Allie, said if she's going to eat, and even if it's chicken fingers for every meal, whatever, as long as she's eating, that's our responsibility. Check the box.
Yeah.
But she has pickleball camp from 1 to 4, so she's not going to be able to eat then. And if I give her lunch mac and cheese at 10:15, and then she has nothing else until 4:15,
she might want a second serving before pickleball camp.
Well, how much mac and cheese do you think I can afford?
It is getting expensive.
I'm going back and forth. I'm trying to write, the question of the day, trying to catch up on the news, make sure I'm prepped for the show tonight, get the show sheet from you. Make me more mac and cheese. No, I just walked to the kitchen. I've been there 3 times. Your mom's upstairs in a meeting. Lucky Charms, oatmeal, mac and cheese. You're good. Calm down.
Another bowl of Lucky Charms if you want.
She's out of Lucky Charms. Then I had to go to Kroger to load up on another box.
And that's a whole thing.
She got to the bottom of that box, and she goes, ah! And I'm like, oh, what happened? What did I do? Did I make the Lucky Charms?
It's
wrong?
gone.
And I go out there, and there's a bug on the table.
I thought that was her noise she made when she just realized that the Lucky Charms were gone.
It was both, out of Lucky Charms and eating a bug. And this bug, I'm not kidding you. I picked it up. I had to apply like 25 pounds of pressure to break this thing.
Strong exoskeleton.
She's like, I knew it wasn't a marshmallow. Well, yeah, it wasn't.
You would have had a real unpleasant time if you would have put that in your mouth.
She's like, give me some water. I got to make sure there's not a leg still in my mouth.
Would you feed your child, man?
And then she just polished off like whatever else, 2 bowls of mac and cheese.
We got a great show lined up for you here tonight. Just a heads up, it is a shorty for us. The Inside Edge is coming up at 7 o'clock. Little Bobby Mack, little Dylan Tyre. Bob had a chance to sit down with Ivan Provorov about his extension, and then Dino also joined him. So that's coming up at 7 o'clock as we're shortened. We'll go through our last night. I feel like we were doing a lot of D-line talk, Austin. We'll switch it to the offensive line coming up here in our next segment. We'll do the college football pulse. We usually do that at 7. We will transfer that to 6:30, and then we'll round it out. Actually, some Buckeye Hoops news to get to a little bit later on in the program as well concerning some former players. But we'll start off here. I know you love talking about NIL. I love talking about NIL.
It's my favorite.
It's the best. It really is. I just can't get enough of it. Did you read this article from Ross Dellinger? It was pretty eye-opening. We obviously got Big 12 Media Days going on, and DJs playing when coaches are talking and all kinds of good stuff. But Ross Dellinger wrote an article today. Within a small booth, 3 stories above the practice field of the Dallas Cowboys, Kenny Dillingham, head coach of the Arizona State Sun Devils, who had a nice college football playoff appearance last year, crosses his legs, leans back in a swivel chair, and details exactly what's happening across the current college football recruiting landscape. We don't know the rules. The settlement passed, but who knows what Deloitte is going on is still unclear. Until there's clarity, we're living in limbo. You see a lot of people lie and promise fake things that he said. I was reading through this, and Scott Satterfield, the head coach of Cincinnati, said, I don't understand what rules everybody's playing by. The whole point of this was all to be playing by the same rules, but we are not. We are not playing by the same rules, particularly this past spring when everybody is apparently front-loading where others now spend their cap. Again, I feel like this is just a continuation of what we've been doing for the last couple of weeks since the House settlement finally kicked in. This was supposed to be the great rule clarification, and everybody is still not sure of what this exactly is doing.
Well, they got to July 1st, and they didn't have any penalties in place for breaking the rules. They skipped ahead, and I don't know if they just didn't think that the actual deadline was going to be met, or if they could drag their feet and then by next year we can figure out if you have to have a cap reduction or if you lose scholarship opportunities. None of that stuff is currently in place. The CSC and managing salary cap, roster spending is supposed to all be separate from the NCAA.
And if you don't know what the CSC is, that's the newly implemented College Sports Commission.
Yeah. And that stuff and what violations and what overspending and overpromising or whatever else you do to break the rules. Well, the rules have not been formally agreed to by everybody, in which case there are also no penalties that everyone has agreed to abide by moving in the future. So it's very college athletics that they got to this point where it's this is what we want. This is going to be great.
This is what everybody wants. It's good for everybody.
It's going to level the playing field. We're all going to buy in. We're all going to agree to it. And even if you don't agree to it, we're going to kick you out. But we've got it. There's going to be
harsh penalties.
There's going to be subpoena power. There's going to be federal backing behind it. This is a case. This is compliance. This is good. This is done. Oh, wait. We forgot that if you have rules, there should be penalties for them. So there's nothing that they can enforce. And I think this story by Ross was great because I think there's been a notion that when you and I talk about it on the Buckeye Show, or when Berm and I talk about recruiting battles that Ohio State is coming up short, Felix Ojo over the weekend,
mm-hmm.
It's that's just sour grapes. Ohio State doesn't want to do this. They don't want to kick in the money. They're not going to be outspent, whatever. It's not just Ohio State. You can say that, there are more aggressive programs, Texas Tech,
yes,
USC.
Being a very one that's in the spotlight right now.
Miami. You can say that there are those programs that are doing that. But there are now multiple programs, not just Ohio State, coming out to speak and say, well, this is supposed to be how things are working. We're operating as if that's the case right now. And it's not that Texas Tech is being rewarded, because I think all of this could blow up in their face.
Yeah, and it has before. See Texas A&M when NIL kicked through.
That's the real test case. Michigan State dealing with that initial wave. And so I don't, again, it sounds like an excuse. It's just an explanation from Ohio State, which is the same that Matt Campbell is providing, or Kenny Dillingham, or Scott Satterfield, or anybody else. Not everybody is just saying this because it's sour grapes. They're saying it because this is the orchard, and these guys are robbing it. This isn't supposed to happen.
So the best line of the entire story came from Kenny Dillingham, the coach for Arizona State. And here's what he said, which I think is maybe the best point anybody has made on this entire front so far. Most places are in win now mode, and most coaches aren't at a place that they want to stay at. Either you're on the top and it's win now, or as long as you can, or you're at a place where it's win now and you can leave and get out. The front loading allowed coaches to win now and to take another job. Just springboard from where you're at. If your boosters and your athletic departments are allowing you massive spending, you win a lot, you win some games maybe you shouldn't, and then you can springboard to another job. But at the end of the day, all these people who front loaded, eventually you're going to have to tell players to take less. You may have set a standard for what people should be paid. Your starters may expect a certain amount of money, when in reality, they cannot functionally earn that amount of money if you want to build a team. I think it's the most clear point any coach in college football has made about this entire situation.
And I'm really glad because I'm sick and tired of talking about NIL. You are, I am, everyone is. The people that are listening, they're like, hey, can we get to the next segment where you guys talk about the Ohio State offensive line? Yeah, we'll be there in a minute, and we can't wait for it. But the fact that we kick off with the Big 12 and they're in the same room, ostensibly as Texas Tech, and having these conversations, I think is awesome, because I think more of these coaches have to speak out about it publicly. It can't just be Ryan Day and people like, well, what's he complaining about? He spent $20 million last year and they won the national championship. Everybody else that's part of this college football future has dragged their feet. I'm talking not just about coaches who are complaining about it, most coaches behind closed doors, but athletic directors who are saying, we need this to happen, but not talking about what plan they want to execute. We mentioned that a couple of weeks ago with Tennessee and Danny White. It's like, he has a plan for collective bargaining. Good. Put it out publicly. Don't be floating it. Ross Dellinger wrote a story about that as well. Don't make this private.
Put it out here.
You have to put the cards on the table. This is the moment. The House settlement passed, and July 1 was 10 days ago. You have to be putting rules and protocol in place now, and it's not a time for debate. It is a time for action.
Let's go. Let's get it done. That concludes the NIL portion of tonight's show.
Thank God.
Now we get to one of my favorite position groups. Yesterday, we did a very heavy D-line show. We're going to flip it over to the dude movers on the other side and tackle the most pressing question for this Buckeye offensive line. Next, it's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
Now is a great time to schedule a back-to-school dental appointment. Dr. Hal Jeter, president of the Ohio Dental Association, is here to tell us more.
Your child's teeth and gums need the right food, nutrition, and vitamins to grow strong and stay healthy. Help them maintain good oral health by brushing every morning and night, flossing, visiting the dentist twice a year, and developing good eating habits. As kids head back to school, it's important to know that foods and drinks high in sugar, acidity, and other cavity-promoting substances are often low in nutritional value, and they have the potential to create plaque capable of damaging tooth enamel. A back-to-school dental appointment can diagnose any potential problems and improve your child's oral health. Ohio Dental Association member dentists are located throughout the state, are dedicated to providing the highest quality dental care, are bound by the highest ethical standards, and obtain superior ongoing education and training. Ask if your dentist is a member of the Ohio Dental Association so you know you are being treated by the best. To find an ODA dentist in your area, visit oda.org.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
Where more than 1,700 scientists are working on new treatments and new hope for every form of cancer.
You're making the choice to have the most advanced treatments, many of which were developed right here.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get 1 juicy flame grilled Whopper sandwich, 1 original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Join Rothman Lemon and Ice every Thursday at 2:30 for Gold Jacket Thursday.
Presented by the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A new Hall of Famer joins the show every week, but not OJ because he's dead and probably a murderer. The Fan.
The future of recycling is now at Rumpke Waste and Recycling. The recycling leader has opened North America's largest, most technologically advanced recycling center right here in Central Ohio. This one-of-a-kind facility features interactive displays, educational opportunities, and the ability to process over 60 tons of recycled material per hour. Rumpke is committed to recycling and sustainability efforts, and for more than 90 years, Rumpke has worked to make sure the items you place in your recycling bin get used again. Visit Rumpke.com to learn how you can team with Rumpke to put less trash in our landfills and more of it to good use.
Experience the ultimate gridiron experience at the Ohio State Football Training Camp, presented by Safe Flight, Bob's Discount Furniture, and Weber, happening at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center July 31st through August 2nd. Don't miss your chance to get the first look at your Ohio State football team. Bring your friends and family and dive into the excitement with inflatables, giveaways, and more. Tickets are limited, so get yours today to ensure you don't miss out on the fun. Visit universe.com/OSU Training Camp 2025 to purchase your tickets today.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
More clouds and sunshine, light winds and humid on this Wednesday with a scattered late-day thunderstorm possible. Temperatures in the low to mid-80s. Overnight, we'll keep it warm and humid with patchy fog. Temperatures around 70 out of the gates on your Thursday morning. Back in the mid to upper 80s with partly sunny skies late Thursday and the chance of some late-day showers and storms. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
The only radio show that bleeds scarlet and gray. This is the Buckeye Show.
Well, heads up. Got our guy Austin Ward in tonight. Murph Dog, Patrick Murphy of Bucknuts. He's going to be in with us tomorrow and on Friday. We're taking the show on the road tomorrow. We're doing it live from Yogi's in Grandview. Great spot. All 4 of the Yogi's locations. Fantastic spots.
Guess my invite got lost in the mail.
Yeah, it did. Listen, I don't schedule you. All right, I don't schedule you.
Don't ask me to come.
I know. You can come. Just come on over. We're gonna be having a great time. We can talk some Buckeyes.
I'd love to.
Yeah, it'd be good. So we're gonna be out there if you want to hang out with us from 6 to 8 in Yogi's in Grandview. Austin, we did a lot of defensive line talk yesterday.
We did.
We did. We did some NIL dollar amounts and why didn't Ohio State load up in the D line and the transfer portal and why did they go after Max Clare? And you said, well, that wasn't a black and white issue on that. Let's talk about one of the better position groups on Ohio State. A lot of veterans on this group. The offensive line. Where do you want to start? You want to start on the outside and work in or the inside and work out? Where are you most interested at in this Buckeye offensive line that was really makeshift by the end of the year with Justin Fry, and he did a heck of a job with these guys. Took that opportunity, going to hang out with Paris Johnson Jr. now with the Cardinals. Well earned from him. And now you get a new offensive line coach coming in here with a very different strategy, but still some guys who are veteran pieces on this team from last season.
I think, first of all, big picture, I believe going into training camp that this is the deepest and most versatile Ohio State offensive line in my 14th year covering Ohio State. And I'm not saying that the ceiling is going to be the highest, although it could be. We'll see. That's going to be determined later on. But a lot of these top Ohio State offensive line units, and I'm thinking about 2014 on the way to the national championship. That was a high wire act, man. You could not have one injury.
Yeah.
If you had to go into the bench and they didn't have to, it was going to be
dicey.
It was going to be dicey. And we saw last year them really piece it together in a way that you would say, well, you got one injury, you can survive that. 2 injuries, well, all right. You're getting a little questionable. 3 injuries, no, okay. Still not decimating. Should we even go full contact in practice before the national championship? Maybe 2 reps is enough.
Yeah, maybe we should just lay off.
Let's hold off there because even Tegra Shabola was more hurt than we realized. Austin Sareveld was more hurt than we realized. Donovan Jackson was playing tackle. All those things we know. But the benefit of that and the experience that Luke Montgomery got, that Austin Sareveld got, Carson Hinsman returning to the lineup, all of that then paves the way for this new future where it's a combination of development and recruitment for all the knocks that Justin Fry took, that he wasn't doing enough to land the high 5 stars. He was guys like Austin Sareveld, Luke Montgomery, Carson Hinsman all check this box. Ian Moore competing there at tackle. I could keep going, but that's the point. There are 10 guys who legitimately can play at the Ohio State level here.
Which is what you want ultimately for an offensive line. Because if you have one bad piece or you have a misfit and your communication gets squirrely up there, man, you're going to notice it. The worst place an offensive lineman can be is noticeable on the screen.
Yeah, that's what you can't have that, because then, especially if you're working with a first-time starting quarterback, everything gets a lot more uncertain, let's say, from that point forward. So big picture, I'd say, Ethan Onyanwa, there were people talking about him being a second-round draft pick, and he decided to leave Rice, go in the transfer portal instead, come to Ohio State. If he is tapping into that potential and maybe goes one round higher and gets in that Simmons or Donovan Jackson category, all right, boom, you're cooking there. I think Carson Hinsman, if he's not a Remington Trophy finalist, I will be surprised, and I won't be shocked if that dynasty for Ohio State continues with them winning another one. I don't know that he's getting nearly enough credit, and that's why I bring him up as often as I can. Ohio State's not winning a national championship without Donovan Jackson doing what he did at left tackle, and they're definitely not without Carson Hinsman elevating his game.
And just for a second on Donovan, I know you can say, all these guys are moving the same way. It's such a different position to go from guard to tackle when you're out there on an island. And you're asked to do it all with millions and millions of eyeballs out there. I mean, we were in a pre-draft process of, Donovan Jackson, are they going to take him as a guard or as a tackle? Because look at what he did in a short-term stint at the tackle position. That's the hardest one to teach.
Yep.
And he's really good at guard, but what is he going to do in the pros? So shout out to Donovan Jackson, man. What he did was nothing short of incredible.
Well, if you're the Vikings, you know that he could potentially do both for you.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's also the part that I think with this floor being elevated, that's the way I'm viewing it. This is the highest floor that Ohio State's offensive line has had since I've covered them. I don't know what the ceiling's going to be. We're going to get into training camp at the end of the month. We're going to see if they stay healthy. We're going to see if they all continue on the development track for a Luke Montgomery, for an Austin Sarabelt, for a Tegra Shabola, Hinsman, even Ethan Onyanwa, what that all looks like once you get into the season, once you play against Texas. Are you going to be better by week 1 by the time you get to week 12?
We hope so.
All that stuff is speculation at this point. I just think in terms of baseline competency plus depth plus versatility, that's what's setting this group apart, because if we narrow in who's going to start against Texas, we know that the only one who's been named as a starter by Ryan Day is Austin Sarabelt, but we don't know what position that's going to be. Yeah. I think it's going to be right tackle. That would be my guess. He spent a great deal of spring camp there and is continuing to be an Iron Buckeye throughout this summer. He is a key cog there. And it's not a knock on Phillip Daniels, the transfer who came in from Minnesota, but I think maybe we got a little carried away in the post-January world. All right, well, here's the future. You have to replace Josh Fryer, Josh Simmons, and Donovan Jackson. Well, you brought in 2 guys from the portal. Ethan Onyanwa is a proven starter who had NFL draft buzz. Phillip Daniels started 4 games at Minnesota as a redshirt freshman. All right, that's not exactly a finished product. And
it's not the same level.
Yeah, no. And I went into February, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. Well, Daniels right there at right tackle, and then you have Ethan Onyanwa at left tackle. You're set, and then you can move it around the pieces just like you did on the interior a year ago with Sarabelt, Shabola, Hinsman, and Montgomery. But the rise of Sarabelt makes this even more dangerous and even more potent for Ohio State, because that gives you the depth with Daniels and Moore at tackle. It's a much better spot for you to be in overall. And then you still have some of the flexibility on the interior with Montgomery and Shabola, Carson Hinsman, Josh Padilla at center. You can still, if you have to deal with an injury, it's no longer Donovan Jackson. You've never repped this. Go play tackle against Abdul Carter.
Way more interchangeable to move from guard, center, guard than it is to kick out to that tackle spot.
100%. And so they spent a lot of spring repping that, and they have guys with versatility, plenty of athleticism, and now plenty of experience. I mean, that conversation, Beamer, you remember everything after Michigan and before Tennessee, but the week of the Tennessee game where it's like, well, who's playing? Who's going to play left guard?
Who's playing where?
And they're talking about rotating Luke Montgomery in, who's not played any snaps of consequence. And we're like, I don't know about this. That's Tennessee's got one of the best defensive lines in the country. But guess what? They came out on the other side of all that, and now you build on it. So I think there's a ton of reason for optimism with this group.
I do too. And it's also a confidence builder, whether you have Lincoln Kienholz or Julian Sayin back there, because you need to give your quarterback time to throw the football, especially when they're a young quarterback, or inexperienced in Lincoln's case. I know he's one of the older guys, the oldest guy in that room.
Yeah.
Or Julian Sand. Just from a passing perspective, just to even have half more of a second or one more of a second is such a big deal to these guys learning an offense in the first time that any advantage you're going to get up front is going to help. And this will not be the same group that you see August 30th against Texas, against the last weekend in November against Michigan. It won't be. Jim Lachey brings it up all the time. If you're a finished product week number 1, then you're not playing out the season the right way. You would like the offensive line to start to peak when you get into November, and then it's timed maul. Like, you need to go 4th and 2 and get something going. You know, you're staring at the 30 with 4 minutes left. You need to get into field goal range or you need to get a touchdown. That's when you want your offensive line to be peaking. So I don't think you're going to see the finished product against Texas, and I certainly hope not. I just hope you get better throughout the entirety of the season.
Yeah, they will. And I think that last year, even though Justin Fry is gone and Tyler Bowen is here, Ryan Day and Brian Hartline were around for that, and Carlos Lachlan and Keenan Bailey, they can all say, you know what, Tyler, one thing that we learned is that there is benefit to rotating some throughout the course of the year. I was always Beamer, and I bet that you were too growing up. You got to have that chemistry. You got to have that camaraderie. You got to have the communication. It needs to be 5 guys. You need to settle into that 5, and you got to let them roll. The last couple years, both Ohio State and even Michigan 2 years ago on the way to their national championship, it was, you know what, we have 7, 8 guys that we trust. And if you can keep them fresh, or if you can develop the technique and the athleticism and the confidence by putting some other guys out there, then you're developing a stronger overall unit that's 8, 9, 10 players deep, as opposed to just like, well, I hope that these 5 stay healthy, because if they don't, like, who knows what's going to happen?
We are dead.
So I think that you're going to see more than just those 5 guys playing, maybe not against Texas, but certainly in the next couple of games after that.
Do you want me to read this verbatim, or do you want me to do it on the fly like I did the other day?
Let's see what's on there.
Hey, I just looked back at my original Awaken 180 goals, and buried deep on the list was to beat my guy, Austin Ward, at golf. Well, played a tourney with Austin last Saturday, and let's just say, mission not accomplished.
There we go.
I had to change that. The majority of the drives used, not mine. The putts used, not mine. I still had a great time, but it was sweltering heat, and I made it through 36 holes, and I felt better than I ever have before. I'm not saying you're going to be a scratch golfer or anywhere near it after losing the weight, but if your Awaken 180 results are like mine, you'll be able to crush Austin too. Just kidding. What? I can't beat him there, but you'll be able to survive 36 holes in like 200-degree heat. You can visit them online at awaken180weightloss.com. We've got some shots being thrown by coaches at former employers. We'll do that in the Pulse coming up next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Cool cars, cool people, good time. It's the biggest and best hot rodding event of the year. The Good Guys 27th Summit Racing Nationals, presented by PPG. All this weekend at the Ohio Expo Center in Columbus. Over 6,000 classics from across the USA. Shop the swap meet at Huge Fender Midway. See which rides take home the crown of the 2025 Classic Instrument Street Rods and PPG Street Machine of the Year. All this weekend at the Ohio Expo Center. Details at good-guys.com.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill, when your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill, because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway, and you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, community banking is the lifeblood of the American financial system, building strong, lasting relationships. We're just better able to help guide you down life's road. Flexibility is paramount to success. Community banking is alive and well in the Heartland. I'm Scott McComb. Come on over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium, presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
It's time for the College Football Pulse on the Buckeye Show.
Sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
All right, we usually do this topic at 7 o'clock tonight, but if you weren't privy to this, we do have a short show. The Inside Edge is returning. Bobby Mack, Dylan Tyre, a little Jackets talk for you from 7 to 8. Ivan Provorov and head coach of your Columbus Blue Jackets, Dean Evison, make an appearance on that program.
What a way to start the season debut.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on.
That's setting too high of a standard, though. You want to ease into it. Like every week is going to be this way?
Provorov and Dino, every week.
You got to elevate.
Yeah, you do. You got to elevate your game. Nate Dogg, how you doing tonight, buddy?
How's it going, brothers?
Doing great, thank you. Doing all right?
I'm doing just swell. So in the Pulse today, Scott Frost is doing some media days with the Big 12 back at UCF after a not so great tenure at Nebraska. He was asked what he learned from his time at Nebraska, and his quote was, "Don't take the wrong job." I said I wouldn't leave UCF unless it was someplace you could win a national championship. I got tugged in a direction to try to help my alma mater, and I didn't really want to do it.
Sure he didn't.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
He absolutely did.
I mean,
for
you're
a lot of
leaving
reasons.
UCF, fresh off of a national championship.
Asterisk.
Whoa, come on, man. What are you talking about? You want
I saw the banner.
Yeah, I did too. They raised the banner. They're claiming it. You're fresh off a national championship at UCF, and then you move to Nebraska? Of course he wanted that job. He played there. That job was open. We've talked about Nebraska for the last 30 years as this sleeping behemoth. And look at their sellout streak. And this fan base is starved for success.
And the watering holes.
And the return of the king, the prince that was promised. Scott Frost is going to walk back in that door after winning a national championship at UCF, and everything is going to be good. And then you get into year one, and you lose 10 games by single digits. And then you get into year two, and you lose 10 games by single digits. And then into year three, and it was the same story after the same story after the same story. It's okay. I mean, people fail all the time. I failed. You failed. Nate, you failed. Everybody out there, you failed at what you've done. There was a lot of hype around Scott Frost returning to Nebraska. You don't need to say this, though. You don't need to say it. You can take it with some grace and just say, I just didn't have great success. I'm very excited to be back here at UCF. Still love Nebraska. Just didn't end the way that I hoped it to.
Yeah.
And then he just said, don't take the wrong job. Like, I don't know. If I was a Nebraska fan, that would, like, enrage me.
He's aiming that at the administrators in the athletic department, but the strays are the people that supported him when he came back as a head coach and definitely as a player. And I think you're 100% correct. Why would they want to open their arms back to him to come back to Lincoln again if that's how he feels? That it's not, you know what? I played here and I coached here. Guess what? You can't win again. Sorry, Nebraska fans.
Yeah, your time in the sun is over.
Stop buying tickets. Stop going. It's impossible. It's such revisionist history. Scott Frost would have crawled over broken glass to take and sign that contract when it was offered to him. Yeah. It might have been his own bottles that he broke on the way there. I don't know, but he was ecstatic to be there, and he had a great time other than failing to win the games. And that's not. I do think that job is incredibly difficult.
What's 16-31? And then he walked away with $35 million and didn't get back into coaching until the buyout was over. Like, and then you come out and say this?
You know, if you want to support your alma mater still, you didn't need to take the $35 million. Just say, you know what, keep it. I didn't do the job that you asked me to.
There you go.
And I know that that's a ludicrous suggestion and no one is actually going to do it.
That's a crazy suggestion.
But you can't then turn around and you take the money, you take the adulation, you fail, and then blame Nebraska for it. I think there's an element of truth that job is now one of the most difficult in college football.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not a helpful solution.
I think it's difficult compared to the standards at which Nebraska fans hold Nebraska in regards. I think that's what makes it hard. I think that's what makes it extremely difficult.
And yeah, because they're not going to win a national championship at Nebraska in the foreseeable future. I don't want to say ever because I don't know what the rules are going to be. I don't know if Tony Petitti's going to push through that 23-team playoff.
Also, ever is a long time.
With 7 byes. Like, it could be anything. I don't know what the future looks like. In this current model and in this current Big Ten, Matt Rule is not going to win a national championship, and whoever inevitably replaces him is probably not going to win a national championship.
Tell you who is, though. Scott Frost at UCF.
Ooh.
Watch out for the Knights, baby.
Wow.
Yeah, they're on a power train. Watch out. They did it once. Who's to say they can't do it again twice? And
I'm going to say that they haven't done it once is what I'm going to say.
Nate, what else you got for us tonight?
Speaking of head coaches, PJ Fleck over in Minnesota has essentially signed a 1-year contract extension with the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. Tell me what I'm wrong here. They're not giving him a raise at all. He gets a bonus when he gets retained go up a little bit. His buyouts are $5.5 million and then decrease. Is this like, I guess we'll give you an extension?
I don't know exactly how to read this, but we talk about Nebraska being a tough job compared to the expectations. Minnesota is an extremely difficult job, I think. I mean, I know that you've got the Twin Cities and you...
Yeah, but they don't expect... Minnesota fans aren't like, you know what, you have to win a national championship.
No, they don't, which is why PJ Fleck is the perfect coach for them.
It's also why PJ Fleck's agent is undefeated. He is constantly getting even the faintest bit of interest from any other program. It's like, hey, Gophers, you want to lose me? You want to start over?
Is that James Franklin a couple of years ago when Lincoln Riley was headed to USC, where he got James Franklin got a big extension from Penn State, right?
That slightly different situation because PJ Fleck is entrenched there with that athletic department and the president, and they don't want to lose him, and he knows that, and so he plays any of that interest and I think he has shown good loyalty to Minnesota.
I do too, man. He's been there for almost a decade.
James Franklin took advantage of a once in a blue moon situation where the athletic director and the president were both asleep at the wheel, and Jimmy Sexton is like, hey, right here. $75 million, guarantee it right now.
Yeah, come on, let's go.
At a time because the previous regime was well aware that the fan base was like, is this it? Is this as good as it's gonna get with James Franklin? Like, have we hit the ceiling? And he was like, ooh, I need to leave for LSU or USC, and then turn that around on inexperienced people who didn't understand the lay of the land with James Franklin, and Jimmy Sexton just immediately capitalized on that. I don't think PJ Fleck is winning a lot of negotiations, but I think it's because he's shown loyalty. The James Franklin one, I'm putting that in an entirely separate bucket.
I mean, PJ Fleck's 58-39 at Minnesota. That's
good there.
That's a really good record. You're hovering right around 60% for your wins, and they have times and places where they will usurp a monster in college football, like just out of nowhere, come up with a huge upset. That's what a PJ Fleck team is good for, and I think it's the perfect marriage with him. It's just 1 year extension after 1 year extension.
When I hear you want a contract extension, I would think you would be getting paid more money.
He's happy. He's fine. He's got all the money in the world up there. You know,
like he's the 11th. He's the 11th highest paid coach in the Big Ten. Like, you might be like, hey, can we move up to number 9? Maybe I'm actually winning games in the Big Ten.
Don't get greedy now,
PJ. What about all that with row the boat? Was that not true?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the perfect marriage that exists in the Big Ten, and it wouldn't surprise me if PJ Fleck is there for another decade.
You know what he likes to drink at Big Ten Media Days?
What?
He takes a Diet Pepsi and mixes with Sierra Mist.
Okay.
That's it. I was just floored.
Usually there would be like a third party if you're going to do that, like if you go to a fast food restaurant or somewhere that has fountain sodas, like usually you're doing at least 3 if you're mixing and matching. But the Sierra Mist and Pepsi combo is it's a pretty wild.
And it wasn't just because those were the only things available to him. He was like, "No, this is my drink.
This is the nectar."
Now, what his wife drinks at Big Ten Media Days, that's a very different story.
Nate Dogg, we'll do one more here.
All right. Speaking of maybe some coaches going back to their alma maters, Joe Stiglione, the AD over at Oklahoma, announced his retirement, and they asked Bob Stoops, does he want to go back? And his response was essentially, hell no.
Yeah, he said, oh, no. He said, if I ever wanted another job, I'd be a head coach again at a university or somewhere. No. That job would have never been for me. Also, given the landscape of college athletics right now, why in the world would you want to be an athletic director? Especially when you're tied to a university as much as Bob Stoops is. We just talked about Scott Frost, how that went up in flames. Don't that reads bad and good on Bob Stoops for just saying, hell no, I don't want that.
It's such a different skill set.
Yeah.
We hear this all the time, and you're looking at, well, who? Because Philip Fulmer tried it multiple times at Tennessee, and it was an abject disaster. Just because you can scheme up some X's and O's, and you might relate pretty well and understand the lay of the land of an athletic department, does not mean that the skills translate to that top job. I mean, think about Oklahoma is not at the level of Ohio State with 36 sports, but they have 6 that they want to fund with the House settlement, and they're good in a number of them. We talked about Joe Castiglione's resume and track record a few days ago. You have to go manage now
baseball, softball, gymnastics,
10 times as many people.
Yeah.
Kudos to Bob Stoops for that self-awareness. And he's like, I'm not even going to let Sooners fans get excited about it, that I can come in and do that job.
I'm going to shut this down right now.
No, thank you. And by the way, I can't do it.
Yeah. And you know what? What does Uncle Bo always say? Every man needs to know his limitations. Shout out to Bob Stoops. He seems to know that. We got some tickets to give away and hashtag Buckeyes next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value, so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
They're trained. They're prepared. Let's do it. They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Experience the ultimate gridiron experience at the Ohio State Football Training Camp, presented by Safe Flight, Bob's Discount Furniture, and Weber, happening at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center July 31st through August 2nd. Don't miss your chance to get the first look at your Ohio State football team. Bring your friends and family and dive into the excitement with inflatables, giveaways, and more. Tickets are limited, so get yours today to ensure you don't miss out on the fun. Visit universe.com/OSU Training Camp 2025 to purchase your tickets today.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers, we're improving lives, we're reimagining healthcare.
Things are popping at Al's Delicious Popcorn. With over 80 flavors to choose from, we have something for everyone. From classics like caramel cashew, white cheddar, and our famous vanilla butternut, to new flavors like chicken and waffles and spicy barbecue. They are all made fresh and they are all delicious. Visit us online at alspopcorn.com or come see us and experience the best service in town at 1500 Bethel Road in Columbus. Al's Delicious Popcorn.
Morning Juice, real football talk. Just two guys who aren't afraid to say what needs to be said. And that's how she wrote.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin.
Now streaming mornings on YouTube and 10 TV Plus. Attack and dominate.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT and cybersecurity? Attend classes live, online, or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
Now open. Zoombezi Bay's brand new conservation tower. 3 slides, 1 tower, and endless thrills. Only at
Zoombezi Bay.
Plan your visit at ZoombeziBay.com.
Your bathroom's got to go, the vanities decay, and toilets really old. The bathtub's giving way. If Baths R Us a ring, call morning, noon, or night. You do not have to wait to get your bathroom right.
Call Baths R Us for your free estimate and enter to win our Christmas in July $12,500 bathroom remodel with an additional savings of up to $3,000 plus low to no monthly payments. 380-225-2284. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Social media can be a cesspool. Allow us to navigate the waters. #Buckeyes.
Sponsored by the Waterworks. Call the plumbing, heating, and cooling technicians at the Waterworks and header today. Call 614-232-2222. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Austin, why don't you fire a number at us? 5. Caller number 5 right now. 614-821-9710.
Team Braxton.
You get into our guy, Nate Dogg, and you're walking away with a 4-pack of tickets to the Cardale Jones charity softball game over at the beautiful, the lovely Huntington Park on July 19th of this year, 2025. 614-821-9710. Caller number 5, you get into Nate Dogg right now. You'll be walking away again with a 4-pack of tickets to that. By the way, if you don't win, you can always go to BuckeyeCruise.com. Buy some tickets. I think they're $10 each.
It's going to be a lovely evening.
You're going to be out there.
And then you can walk right across the street or down the street after that game is over. They better not go extra innings because your Columbus Crew will be playing.
Yeah, what's the tiebreaker on the Cardale versus Braxton affair?
Coin flip.
Home run derby?
I don't know. The home run derby's before that, isn't it?
I know, but
started.
I'm saying is like the home run derby winner, whoever's team that they're on, they just automatically win.
I don't know. There are no rules, and everything's made up.
Yes, that is correct. Crew, by the way, that night, big game against DC.
Yeah. They've been on away for a month.
I know, and they're still going to be away coming up. We got Hell is Real this weekend, and they're on the road in the midweek against Nashville, and they're finally back home.
Lovely night in downtown Columbus on the 19th. Don't miss it.
Yeah, can't miss it. Don't miss it. By the way, did you see this? Well, former Buckeye basketball news. I saw this by Shams. He tweeted, the Washington Wizards are trading Kelly Olynyk to the San Antonio Spurs for Malachi Branham.
Wow.
Blake Wesley and a 26 second-round pick. Least favorable of Dallas, Philly, Oklahoma City. Sources tell ESPN. It's nice for Malachi to get a little change of scenery.
I really would have liked him to have the same scenery for a second year of college basketball.
I would have, too. That would have been nice.
I think Chris Holtman probably would have wanted that, too.
Yeah, he was a heck of a player, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean...
And credit to him because...
He's making money. He's still hanging around there.
At the beginning of the season, he was a much different player than what he was in the midseason at the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a little too short here in Columbus.
Yeah, it's... he didn't need it to get to the next level and find a home and find a roster spot and keep cashing checks and now be part of some trades and a new opportunity for him. But I think I'd want to be part of what they're building in San Antonio, to be honest. Get a healthy Wemby back and the pieces that they've had down there. Now the West is tough, but I wouldn't want to leave if I was Malachi. So,
yeah.
But maybe, as you said, just more playing time elsewhere.
Get back here to the East Coast. Be all right.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, by the way, too, did see a little more Buckeye basketball news. Bryce Sensabaugh, who had a decent season last year. It's kind of been a tough go for him. First year was really rough and kind of settled in. Last year scored 37 points in a summer league game. It was the most ever in a Salt Lake City summer league game. Good job,
bonkers.
Bryce. Yeah, 37 points on just 14 field goals and a win over the John Morant and the Grizz.
What if he stayed for more time at Ohio State?
Did you like how I slid that in there?
Yeah.
I don't think Ja was playing in this game, but
he was a scratch.
Yeah, he was not playing.
He was watching.
What do you got coming up on the beat tomorrow?
Tomorrow is a Thursday.
Yeah, it is.
Thursday, it's a Three Things Thursday.
Okay.
So I told Berm, I said, summer's over. 3 weeks away from the start of training camp.
Oh, yeah, we're done.
So the three things are going to be the three things that we're tired of talking about in this offseason.
NIL.
NIL was
number one. Is that NIL?
NIL. So we kicked it off with 10 more minutes of NIL. I said, hopefully we're done with this. And I had said maybe these are things we're going to stop talking about because that was in my mind. Like, I'm going to stop talking about.
You're just going to be done with them.
Yeah, like bury him. But we got into NIL and was like, well, everyone's going to be talking about it in Las Vegas. So, and then Berm's like, also, they might lose those recruitments on Friday, and then we're going to have to talk about this again. So I was like,
so
great.
we're not done talking
Off to a flying start. But we talked about the NIL situation. We talked about, some of the comments coming from the Big 12, also the Ross Dellinger story, how that applies not just to Ohio State. Berm's pick, if you want to hear that, is he's tired of people saying that Julian
Dan is good.
That Julian Sayin is the clear-cut starting quarterback for Ohio State.
That's a fair point.
He wants that conversation to be over and put to bed. We haven't been having it. He's tired of other people talking about it. I thought it was things that we had beaten to the ground. And the third thing was getting more into the defensive line. And I said, I'm going to stick with this one. I'm done talking about Hero Kanu is gone, what they could have spent in the transfer portal.
Yeah, but
why
let's
they didn't
just do that for a second. I'm just kidding.
Why don't you download Tuesday's Buckeye Show?
Yeah.
And you'll get the full breakdown of that. It's available anywhere you get your podcasts, and it's on the 97.1 The Fan YouTube channel.
Yes, it is.
Under the Buckeye Show. And I said, well, from here out, like, this is the roster. It's no more explanation of how they got there. Ohio State made its decision. Larry Johnson, Mark Pantoni, Ryan Day. They made their decision. This is what they have.
Whether that decision was made for them or they made that decision as a whole. That's the deal.
No longer matters. There's no one they can pick up. Or I guess there is. There was a Syracuse defensive tackle who went in the portal. Ohio State's not interested in pursuing him. They won't pursue him. So they could have, I guess, theoretically still added somebody in time for training camp, but they're not doing that. So it doesn't do any good to talk about those last 6 months or the fact that Ty Hamilton is gone and Tyleik Williams is gone. Here's what you have. So let's talk about it. Who is going to step up? Jason Moore, Will Smith, Tywan Malone, Jarquez Carter, Edric Houston, Caden McDonald. We expect them to start, but these are the guys. And that's it. There's no more point about looking back. Let's look forward. Training camp starting on the 31st.
Don't look back in anger, Austin.
I won't. I mean, confusion maybe, but not anger. But I look to the future with optimism. And I think we mentioned this. Larry Johnson has proven very, very, very skilled at developing these defensive tackles. So let's talk about which ones it's going to be. They need more than one of them to do it. Is it Jason Moore? Is this the time? Is it year 5 in Tywan Malone? Is it a true freshman who's going to stun us and Jarquez Carter just burst on the scene? I don't know. I expect someone's going to do it. But at this point, that's the roster. Let's look at what Ohio State has and see what they're going to do with it.
So quit asking. All right? I'm not going to answer it. So quit asking.
I mean, if I'm asked, I'll answer.
So that you can hear more expanded answers on those non-answers or non-questions tomorrow.
Yeah.
On the beat with Austin and Berm. I'm looking forward to it. I'll listen to that. By the way, Pat's in with me tomorrow. Again, we're at Yogi's in Grandview. Nate, before we get out of here, I know we got about 2.5 minutes-ish. Who was the winner of the Cardell Jones charity softball game 4-pack of tickets?
Chad in Newark.
Chad in Newark.
Oh, Chad.
Congratulations. He knew that he needed to be caller number 5. He was quick on the draw. Before we get out of here, let's get to our fan poll at 971thefan.com or on X at 971thefan. Outside of Ohio State football versus Michigan, what do you consider to be the best rivalry in college football? Mine, it flows depending on the vitriol in the game and the season and the stakes. I'm kind of all over the place. There's nothing better to me, though, than the backyard brawl. Like, those two teams hate each other, all right? And I know that the Iron Bowl has had a lot of big stakes attached to it. It's where it's played in the schedule. The backyard brawl is great. Like, those two teams just absolutely hate each other. They're usually not playing for much, at least for the last recent years with those two programs. But I like the fact that they just can't stand one another.
Yeah, it's great.
I love that one.
Lots of burning couches and fireball.
It was Auburn, Bama, Iron Bowl, Oklahoma, Texas, and Red River, Army, Navy, or other. What do you think leads the way?
Probably the Iron Bowl.
Army, Navy leads the way.
Oh, really?
51% of the voting delegation.
Well, it should be Red River because I grew up going to that one, and I can tell you there's nothing quite like having a neutral site rivalry every year. First time I went to that game, I was
Where would ours be played?
Where would
Toledo?
it be played? Toledo, yeah. Maybe you could play it in Cleveland. That's close enough, right?
It trends more Ohio than Michigan, though.
Well, I mean, Dallas trends more Texas than Oklahoma. So,
hey, do you know where the pinstripe Bulls played?
Yeah, Fenway. It's so cool. I think I was maybe 5 or 6 the first time I went, and we were right there near the cutoff where it's at the 50 and it shifts from crimson and cream to the most disgusting burnt orange that you ever seen in your life.
It's it's a noticeable color.
Yeah. So that's an experience that'll change a man or a young lad.
Yeah. Now you're a Boomer Sooner, big OU guy. Not anymore. Or a Texas guy or a SEC guy, really.
Don't care about any of them. I'm go Pokes, and then I'm going to go watch every single Ohio State snap that exists to mankind.
Austin, thanks for the time this week. Have a great rest of the week. We'll talk to you again on Monday. Inside Edge is up next on The Fan.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers. Oh, that is very touching. But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan.
You know that project you've been working on? Just chipping away at it, dreaming of the day you get to show it off? Then, when you're least expecting it, cancer. And finishing that project actually happens. I would know. I've been restoring this car for years, and today I'm giving it to my granddaughter. It's her 16th birthday and 2 years since my cancer diagnosis.
Mom, you finished it?
Happy birthday, boo-boo. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn more.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. And no matter what tasty choice you make, our low prices add up to big savings. Plus, you get over $600 in digital coupons each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump and points. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance is prepared for what's next and protects what matters most to you. With independent insurance agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova Insurance is an easy win for your peace of mind. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you.
What is dippable and dunkable? And now at Donato's, it's Donato's new chicken dippers. Flavorful boneless chicken breast tenders served up with 7 amazing dipping sauce options, including new garlic parmesan and sweet chili. For a limited time, try new chicken dippers for just $5 on the $5 Pizza Pals menu. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's. Gotta love more.
Hello, I'm Ross Bjork, Senior Vice President and Eugene Smith Wolf Foundation Endowed Athletics Director at The Ohio State University. In partnership with AEP, Donato's, Kroger, The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, Huntington, and 10 TV, Ohio State Athletics strives to inspire the community to make a positive impact on children and families in our great state through the Buckeyes Care Initiative. Show and share your support in the community by using the hashtag